Hi, and I just thought I'd do a video to let you know that I've got a midwife appointment this morning. So this is an additional midwife appointment because at my 34-week midwife appointment I had low blood pressure, and also my bump is measuring quite big. The fundal height was already 40 centimetres a week and a half ago. So they initially told me that they wanted me to have another scan because, you know, the bump's really big and they want to see whether it's baby or bump. But as I have the scan tomorrow, we weren't able to get another one in sooner. But I do have a midwife appointment today just to check that my blood pressure has, stayed. It was on the sort of cusp of being a bit low. So they just wanted to double check, especially because I have swelling in the hands and feet, and they just want to monitor me. So I'll be getting ready to leave for my appointment. As usual, when you go to the midwife, you always need to take your maternity notes with you, and that just has all the information, everything that they monitor in your appointments. And the good thing, however, about the hospital that I go to, they actually offer you online pregnancy notes, so I can access all of the main measurements in the app. Well, it's not an app, it's actually an online website, but I log on sometimes, and for the last 3 appointments I've been able to see what my fundal height was. So the fundal height, I believe, is from the top of the pubic bone to the top of the womb, so you're sort of measuring the baby and the bump. And it also shows that the baby is head down, but she's not engaged yet. I guess we'll find out a little bit more today and tomorrow at the midwife appointment and tomorrow's scan whether she started to engage, because I'm actually officially 36 weeks pregnant today. So unbelievable, 9 months pregnant on the last hurdle. It's very exciting now. So I will let you know what they've said at the appointment, and speak to you in a bit. So I've just come back from my midwife's appointment. This one at 36 weeks, it was quite a long one because we did all of the normal things, such as taking blood pressure, checking for protein in urine, and listening to the baby's heartbeat. But we also discussed about going into labour, what telephone numbers you need to call, have I packed my hospital bag, and discussed about writing the birth plan, which they urged me to do. And we also discussed some of the issues because, again, had my fundal height measured and I'm measuring big, so just talking about what that might mean. So the reason why I only had a week in between, or a week and a half in between this midwife appointment and the week before, was because actually my blood pressure was just on the cusp of actually being high. I know I said earlier it was lower, but actually it was a little bit high, so they wanted me to come back in. But today, when I had my blood pressure measured, it was perfect. It was 100/69, which is completely healthy and absolutely nothing to worry about. Then obviously my urine analysis, there was no protein in the urine, which is great, so that they had no concerns with that. As I mentioned, I had the fundal height measured, which is from the top of the pubic bone to the top of the womb, and lo and behold, obviously a week later, she's grown an extra centimetre, so it should be roughly 1 centimetre per week. So she's now 41 centimetres, which again is obviously quite big. So we discussed that obviously I am measuring about, you know, 5 weeks ahead of where you typically would be at 36 weeks. So at 36 weeks, you would be estimated to be around 36. So we looked at the scan results from the growth scan that I had at the 28-week mark, and yes, it did indicate that there was excess fluid, but not anything to be concerned about. It was at the upper limit, but it was still within the normal range. And the midwife gave a really good feel today to see what was going on, and she actually didn't think that felt like that there was excessive amounts of fluid. So dun dun dun, could it be a really big baby? I don't know, I'm gonna find out tomorrow, but she didn't seem that it was excessively too much fluid. So, but what she did say when she was feeling around is that the baby is lying on the right side. It's lying, they call it longitudinally, so from top to bottom. So she's kind of getting ready to be in position. Whereas I think sort of towards in the middle of my pregnancy, she was lying more vertically. So now she's kind of horizontal, but she is still not fully engaged yet. So but again, that can happen from on your first baby 4 weeks before, right up to when you're going into labour. And what else did they tell me about today? So that we measured the heartbeat. So the heartbeat was 147, and they said that that was absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So all of the measurements seemed okay. Then their midwife was talking to me about what's going to happen possibly when I go into labour. So she talked about looking for the show, which is the mucus plug coming out. Also what might happen if my waters break. And she also highlighted the telephone numbers and what to do, when to call in an emergency. And she also explained, very importantly, where I need to go if I am in labour, and she explained what part of the hospital. We also discussed today about writing the birthing plan. So this is something that I've been putting off, but something that I do have quite a strong idea now of how I want the labour to go. So I will do a separate video on how I'm going to write my birth plan. And she did say, get your hospital bag ready, you know, from 36 weeks. And the fact that, you know, I am pretty big, there's not that much room left, that maybe baby will come early. So just get ready, do the final bits. And obviously looking forward to tomorrow, where they're doing the scan, where I can really get a better idea of how much fluid there is and the potential size of the baby. But for now, everything seems absolutely fine.